And good morning again. Namaste. And Happy New Year. Whoa, first Sunday in January. First Sunday of the new year. Yay. So, Centers for Spiritual Living has chosen as its theme for this year, Open at the Top. The theme draws on Dr. Ernest Holmes' clear directive that our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, should never place itself in the static position that everything there was to be known and said was known and said. Dr. Holmes was absolutely adamant that we should forever remain open at the top, willing to look deeper, to raise our consciousness, and to accept that there is yet more wisdom to be imparted and shared. So, open at the top is where we're at this year. I've already mentioned earlier in the service that the theme for January lessons is ancestral wisdom, new thought. CSL provided a theme summary for us in their notes to us, and I'd like to share that with you. They read, "We are kicking off the year honoring the tradition of realigning with the basics of the science of mind. As we rediscover the empowering truths found in the first 4 chapters of the textbook, the essential scaffolding of our teaching, we'll be pairing each message with an invitation to deepen into the possibilities offered through Indigenous stories." Ooh, sounds kind of interesting, intriguing. So in support of the theme, the creative committee members who chose this month's theme have selected the book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants as the book they wanted to use in support of this month's lessons. That is by the author Robin Wall Kimmerer. Now, Robin Wall Kimmerer is also CSL's hero, spiritual hero of the year. And if you get Science of Mind magazine, then you will have recognized the name because she's on the cover of the December issue. Ms. Kimmerer is a member of the, bear with me here, Potawatomi tribe, which is a Great Lakes region tribe of Native Americans. She's also a botany professor and self-described lover of the land. So for this first week of the new year, CSL provides a marketing teaser, and this is what it reads. In Science of Mind, we are taught that the entire universe conspires for our good. Indigenous wisdom supports and deepens this idea, honoring the interconnectedness of all. This week, we'll share the story of the maple sugar moon and discover the communion of weather, botany, squirrel wisdom, and human effort in creating the magic of maple sugar. How is the universe conspiring for the highest good of all right now? Oh, okay. So the title for today's lesson is unusual to say the very least, Divine Mind and Maple Sugar. So there's a story that goes with that, and let me share it with you. It's said that the Potawatomi learned to make maple sugar from squirrels. Late winter, when the caches of nuts are depleted, squirrels take to the treetops and gnaw on the branches of sugar maples. Scraping the bark allows sap to exude from the twig, and the squirrels drink it. But the real goods come the next morning when they follow the same circuit they made the day before, licking up the sugar crystals that formed on the bark overnight. Freezing temperatures cause the water in the sap to sublimate, leaving a sweet crystalline crust like rock candy. Sugaring is a practice of patience, waiting for all of the elements to align to create something magical. For the sap to run, you need a combination of warm days and freezing nights. Warm is a relative term here, 35 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So the sun thaws the trunk and starts the flow of the sap inside. Plink. The sap drops into, from the spiles, those little spouts that the people put into the trees, into tubs. And then the water on the top of the sap freezes each night, and the ice is removed each morning. Night by night, the sap becomes more concentrated. Everyone, the people, the trees, weather, even the squirrels, each a part of the oneness to create the wonder that is maple sugar. Pretty cool. It appears like some infinite intelligence coordinated all of the various elements, trees, weather, squirrels, to bring to the world this very special and very delicious treat. In the concluding paragraph of the first chapter of The Science of Mind, which is the thing itself, Ernest Holmes wrote, "The mind which we discover within us is the mind that governs everything. This is the thing itself, and we should recognize its simplicity." And we do affirm every time we enter into prayer, spiritual mind treatment, that the infinite being is in us, as us. From the notes CSL provided for today's lesson, we read this. In the first chapter of The Science of Mind, we learn about the thing itself, a creative mind within which we all express. An aspect of this oneness is the divine. In the divine is that we are each fully supported. When we have a strong intention, the entire universe conspires to make it happen through the power of the law. This quote reminds us that this mind supports not only ourselves, not only our individual wants and the calling of humanity, but it also supports every aspect of creation. The same divine synchronicities that are unfolding in the lives of people are also being expressed through squirrels, trees, and even the weather. This mind that governs everything, along with indigenous wisdom of the Potawatomi people, invites us to expand our understanding and connection to the great web of life. And then that brings us back to that first chapter in The Science of Mind. The thing itself. We're going back. I think this is wonderful. We're going back to the basics of January, reviewing the first 4 chapters of The Science of Mind. So in that chapter, Dr. Holmes introduces us to God as the one mind of which we are all a part and of which we all use. Dr. Holmes imparts to us the concept that the one mind, God or spirit, is love and loves all of its creation. Mind also acts in a lawful way, accepting what it is thoughtfully impressed into it and reflecting the thought back as experience on the physical plane. Mind doesn't play favorites. It faithfully responds to each individual, returning to them the outpicturing of their intentions, their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It does that whether we're aware of it or not. Every thought we've ever had has been instructive and creative to mind. And we've come to understand that can both be good news and the bad news. Okay? When we become aware of this mind, it acts as a principle, then we can begin to use it intentionally for our good and the good of all. As we consciously move our thoughts into alignment with our highest good and recognize and eliminate self-limiting or negative thoughts from our thought patterns, we clear away the subconscious or subjective tendencies that influenced our life experiences. We use our objective thinking mind, the one you're hearing me with, to focus on our best outcomes, all the while planting seeds of good in the subconscious or subjective side of life, or we hope we do. That in turn brings light to the collective consciousness of all. Ooh. Dr. Holmes concludes his chapter on the thing itself, encouraging us to learn to trust mind. And that was my quote from today. When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. Earlier, I shared with you the story of the maple sugar moon. That story comes from the Native American lineage, the Potawatomi tribe, and it emphasizes the coordination of various elements in nature that conspire to bring a sweet treat to anyone who came upon it. The author of the story, Robin Wall Kimmerer, shares even deeper insights into her lineage in the article in the Science of Mind magazine. So if you haven't read it and you have the magazine, please do, or if you have access to it online. As a botanist, Ms. Kimmerer has observed and studied the cooperation and the interaction of plant, insect, animal, and human species. In alignment with her Native American philosophy, she submits that all nature, all living things, animate and inanimate, are expressions of God, and therefore entitled to our respect, our honor, and our reverence. It is through their interconnectedness, their interdependence on each other, that stability of resources and supply for all come about, in her opinion. In the Science of Mind article, Ms. Kimmerer references her ancestral practice of respecting Grandmother Earth. She references the honorable harvest in her article and writes, "Know the ways of the land that takes care of you so you can care for it. Introduce yourself and be accountable as the one asking for life. Ask permission before taking and abide by the answer. Never take the first or the last. Leave some for others. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Use respectfully and never waste. Share and give thanks. Give a gift in gratitude for what you've taken. Sustain what sustains you, and earth will last forever." In her culture, wealth meant having enough to give away, and social status was elevated by generosity. Consider that principle. Ms. Kimmerer asks in the article if we can understand the world as a gift again, if we make our relationships sacred again. She goes on, our culture operates on convenience, instant gratification, a 24-hour news cycle, and relentless input that reinforces our separateness. These are not gifts of life. This is theft. We are robbed of our eternal birthrights by greed. We turn against each other, driven by a system that profits off of fear and suffering. The teaching of the science of mind specifically includes all of humanity as expressions of the creative infinite mind of God. The ancestral wisdom of the Native Americans tells us to include all of creation as an expression of God. Life as a gift, eternally and lovingly given, worthy of our honor and of our respect. As we start this new year, we touch back to the foundation of our teaching, the science of mind. And this month, we are offered the opportunity to expand our understanding of mind, God, spirit, and how it works. By this lesson today, we are invited, literally, to see God and the gift of life in absolutely everything. The story of the maple sugar moon illustrates the intelligence, cooperation, and coordination of plants, weather, and animals to support a part of the totality of life. I'm not certain, but the legend has it that humans observed the squirrels and what they did to find the sugar. Humans observed the squirrels. And it wasn't a human who figured out how the process worked, but who saw what nature provided and how nature worked cooperatively to take care of itself. We're not separate from the world around us. We are dependent on the earth and on its environment. When we observe the animals and the birds, we learn from them. And it provides us with an opportunity to unlock the earth's bounty. The charge then for us this morning is to consciously include all of life in our prayers and our intentions. In other words, what's good for us needs to be good for all. And including that for the highest good of all in our treatments opens the door for that to happen. We are reminded that we don't live in a vacuum. We're a part of a tapestry of life, of all being, important threads, but not the only ones. Honoring and respecting all life sets the law of life in motion in an inclusive and loving way. And absolutely everything and everyone has the potential to benefit. So as we set intentions today, which we'll do in a few minutes, let's create something that's good for everyone. Let us remember that God is generous and we can trust the universe. And let us also include in our prayers that we are good stewards of all the gifts we've been given. So let's take that into treatment this morning and affirm that for ourselves and for our community. And so, beloved, we observe the wisdom imparted to the natives who were close to the land. And we soften our edges to observe the ancient wisdom, to embrace it, to let it move through us and deepen our connection with all of life. Recognizing and knowing that there is but one infinite presence, one power, one truth. We align with it here and now. And as we enter into this new year, this new opportunity, this possibility, infinite possibility, we choose then the inclusiveness of all, that we extend to the earth and all of its inhabitants our honor and our respect. And trust that we are guided to do so by the intelligence of the one mind. As we invite it, as we court it, as we welcome it, let us each be guided and directed in exactly the right and perfect way to bring about the highest and greatest good for ourselves and for everyone in our sphere of experience. We set this intention now, lovingly, joyously, and we let this word unfold for each of us in absolute perfection. Thank you, beloved. We let it be, and so it is.